Hi, welcome to Dev Central. My name is Jason Rom, and I'm going to walk you through a RDP access for Big IP APM version 11. And I've written up a solution on RDP access with version 10, and it required quite a few more steps in being able to auto launch RPM or RDP. And this one is going to make the configuration process a lot simpler and give you as a manager a little bit more option, and as well as the clients for being able to pick the domain that they're logging in from. So let's get started real quick. There's a couple things we have to create before we go through the wizard, and let's click through here, access policy to webtops and webtop list. We're going to create an RDP test webtop, and new in version 11 is this full webtop. Before we had the portal and network access, but now we have a full webtop. So we're going to click that and create it, and then we need to actually come down here and build a remote desktop resource. So and that of course is under application access, remote desktop, remote desktops. So let me create that, and we want this to be RDP, and I'll call it RDP test, and I'm just going to put in an IP for now. You of course would probably use a host name. I don't really need to set anything else in here, except I do want to provide the auto login capability. So create that, and it opens up these session variables and username, password, domain. I'm going to leave those default. So I'm going to come down here and click finished, and then I want to go to wizards, and I always like to use the wizards for creating any of my access policy manager configurations, because it's very thorough and I don't miss stuff. So let's just call this RDP test again, and I disable the antivirus checks just so it's not an extra thing that might hit me with my own desktop antivirus issues. And you could use an existing if you have one. I don't have one defined yet, so I'm going to create that. And idea 1, dev central test.local, and my domain, ad auth, passwords in there, and then I only have a single IP that I'm going to define here, but obviously you guys would probably use a range, but I don't need to do that here. And let me click previous. Did I add that? Okay, I did. Alright. In this next step, I'm just going to let it force all traffic through the tunnel, but if you wanted to use split tunneling, you could put in what your LAN and DNS address space is for that, so that your clients don't have to push everything through the tunnel. Just click next here. And then here I only have the primary name server, so I'm not going to fill in the rest of this. And then for VIP, and here it's going to create the HTTP to HTTPS. Your discretion on whether you want anything to connect to you unsecured, but I'll go ahead and let it create it by default. And click next in here. And now I'm at the setup summary. I want to come in here real quick and edit the access policy. And we had that domain variable, so I want to add that here to the logon page. Oh, not there. Field 3. I'm going to save that. And then over here in resource assign, we want to add our remote desktop that we created. And then we also need to come over here to the webtop, and we need to link the webtop that we created, the full webtop. It created a network access webtop in the wizard, but we need the full. So we update that and save it, and then we can close that out, and then click finished. And then the only other thing we need to do is come down here, since we updated the policy, and apply it. And that is the full configuration.